Well, welcome back. This is Kim Olver here again with Kurek Ashley. He's the author of How Would Love Respond, a book I read and loved and highly recommend. Kurek, I'm so happy that you're with us tonight or
Thank
this
you, Kim.
morning.
Well, I love it. Is that technology these days? If you're in Chicago. When I went to the Museum of Science and Industry when I was a kid, they used to have two rooms with a phone and a video camera, and you talk to the room literally it was like 3 feet away from you, and that was space haze. That was the future. Now we
That's
do it on
right.
Google and stuff for free, and people are bored with it already. So I think it's amazing.
We've been marveling at that all day, how we're talking to people around the globe and we're actually able to do it for free. It's unbelievable and wonderful. This is our Mental Health and Happiness Summit, so I'd just like to start by asking you if you have your own definition of how you would describe mental health. What do you say about that, or how would you define mental health or even happiness?
Well, I think it really, I have no religion. My mom was Jewish, my dad was Catholic. I was confused. Yet I will quote a lot of the masters, and Buddha really, I think, said it all. And he said that there is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way. It's a choice. It's not an attainment. It's not something you get. It's just something you decide. And so, when it comes to mental health, well, just like any other health, that's going to come from exercise. We have to strengthen ourselves because if you don't use it, you lose it, so to speak. And Napoleon Hill, who wrote the book Think and Grow Rich, said that the dormant mind is the devil's workshop. Garbage will seep in if you don't actively put something in there. So again, we have to exercise our minds because then happiness, it's easy to be happy, because you feel strong and you don't get pushed around by the outside world.
That's great. I really like that. I really like the analogy between exercising our bodies and exercising our minds. I think that is really important, and the way to happiness, the decision. I like that. Um, what would you say are some personal and maybe even cultural obstacles to happiness that people might have to overcome?
Well, I would say the biggest is that we've been so programmed that I got to have the fastest phone with the most amount of buttons. I have to have the biggest TV. We get caught up in this programming that our way to happiness is something external. That's why somebody's sleeping on the street to buy the first iPhone 6. It's like ridiculous. And they're trying to get some kind of feeling. The most consumed drug on the planet right now are known as antidepressants. Okay, well, the funny thing is if you skip down the street, your body automatically makes those happy chemicals. It's impossible not to, right? And so, if we're looking outside of ourselves to fix it, well, we're already in trouble because there's nothing outside of us that can change us. It really comes again from working on ourselves, and it's impossible to stay in a bad mood if you skip. And people go, well, I look like I'm stupid if I skip. I go, well, look, hanging out in depression but not doing anything about it, then to me that's kind of stupid. I don't really care what people think about me because, look, if they're not obviously making me happy, why would I care about what they think about when I'm trying to make myself happy? So I'll give you an example of that, Kim. Is my sister hasn't talked to me in over 18 years now, right? She's angry that I'm successful.
Mm.
And people, oh, that's terrible. Like, wait a minute. No, it's her choice. It's not terrible. I'm not going to describe it in a way that makes me feel bad because two unhappy people will never make a happy person. It doesn't work that way. If that's what she chooses for her own life, God bless her. At that point, since I don't really have a choice, right? She's saying, hey, no, I don't want to talk to you. Then I just choose to be happy and keep living my life. See, so it really comes down to, again, is really it's a mantra, and it's something people should say to themselves on a regular basis, and that is, in order for things to change, I must change first. The world won't change until we change the way we view the world. And so that's going to come from us working ourselves. So it's in order for things to change, I must change first. That gives you complete power now to turn the situation around.
Yeah, I love that. It's so empowering to look at the one thing in life that we really can change, which is ourselves. if you if yeah if you decide that your happiness is contingent on another person, that person decides not to behave the way you want them to, then all of a sudden they're in charge of your level of happiness. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, think about that, Kim, is because that's called a dependent relationship. So you're leaning on somebody for their make you happy. Well, this person, this standing person, doesn't have enough energy to hold you up long. They will step away, and then you collapse. This is called a codependent relationship. It's two people who now, it actually doesn't stay balanced like this. There's usually a power struggle, who's leaning on who the most, but that's also doomed. A happy relationship is two happy people who have a thing called connection between them, who just go down the river of life happily together. And that's powerful. So when people say, well, you know, us together, we create 100%. Well, that's cool, but there's 100% missing. So it should be 100% with 100% create something bigger than the both of you as individuals. And that could be friendships, but by the way, that can be business relationships. It certainly can be our partner.
Right. Yes. Yeah, I could see that. Do you think, well, you've already answered this question, so instead of saying, do you think, I'm going to ask you, what do you think people can do to improve their level of mental health and happiness? You talked about exercising the mind. What are some of the things people can actually do to exercise the mind?
Well, the first is start hanging out with positive, happy people, not pissed off, angry, negative people, right? Like your family. Just because you pop out of the same womb doesn't mean you're going to be the best of friends with those people, right? So if they're not those people that help you inspire and empower yourself, then go find somebody who does. And if you don't have anybody, now how do you do that? Well, the first thing you do is work on yourself, because positive, happy people don't want to hang out with pissed off, angry people, even if they're doing it to try to be positive. Like energy attracts like energy. So read books, not murder mysteries, not romance novels. If you want to do that, that's extra credit. But, you know, put your face in a personal development book every day. You know, listen to audio programs. If you go to work, if you go to school, if you go somewhere, well, instead of listening to the radio or just sitting there staring out the window of the train or the bus, put on some personal development, listen to some stuff, you know, work the brain, exercise it. Also, change your physiology, your posture. Your posture instantly tells you what mood you're in. That's why I'm saying skipping, it's impossible to stay in a bad mood if you do it. And the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is successful people, we're willing to do those little extra things that produce results that unsuccessful people never see. And it's not a lot, because that's the difference between first and fourth at the Olympics. 1/100th of a second difference in time. I was just explaining to you guys on the phone that before we started this call, is that, you know, this week I just went down to Melbourne. I took the women's beach volleyball team to win gold medals at the Sydney Olympics, where they were just inducted into the Hall of Fame. People said, how'd you do that? Well, all they did is taught them to master that. Just be a little bit better than the other team. That's all you got to do. It's not a big astronomical thing. And sure enough, we beat them by 2 points, because that's the rule. You got to have, you got to win by 2. But we got gold. They got bronze. First gets everything, fourth gets nothing. Third, you get a medal. Anyway, that's good. But, no book deals, no endorsement deals, no contracts, nothing. Right? Just by doing a little bit more. And that's every day. Work on yourself a little bit. That's called consistent daily improvement. Change your physiology. Change your language. Quit using stuff that is harsh. I hate people. Why don't you just say, you know what? I don't think I like that person very much. Because the more intense we use our words, the more intense we feel it. Buddha said you don't get beat up for your anger, you get beat up by your anger. And the Bible says, in the very beginning, it says, in the beginning is the Word. The Word is with God. The Word is God. That means the words that we choose to use create our experience.
That reminds me of a question you put in your book that you like to ask people when you run into them and you're talking to them. I don't remember the exact words, but I love the sentiment of it. And on Facebook, when I'm on there and I write something about my day, I end my posts with the question, what's great about your day? And that was similar to the question that you asked. I don't remember exactly what it was. I didn't want to totally steal it from you.
No. Wait, Kim, first, I don't create anything. I study successful people and I study unsuccessful people. I just see what successful people are doing differently than unsuccessful people, and I teach that. I break it down into a teachable strategy. Because I wasn't born this version of Kurek Ashley. I'm just like everybody else. I start off in life with inappropriate lessons, actually. I realized I'm never going to get the result I want, so something's going to have to change, and that sounds like it's going to be me, so I'm going to figure out how to do it. I've learned it so much that I just teach it now, that's all.
Well,
And I
could
can
you
guarantee
share?
it works.
I believe that. And would you share with our viewers why you would ask a question like that? What's great about your day? I remember what you said in your book, but if you could tell them, that would be great.
Well, first, again, it's biblical. Ask and thou shalt receive, which means any question you ask, it's answered. Well, if you ask an average person, how's your day? The number one answer here in Australia is not so bad. And I always ask them, what is not so bad? You know, it's closer to bad than good. And they go, well, it's, you know, how's your day? I go, awesome. And they go, why awesome? I go, because I just said so. See, that's how I describe it. So that's what it is. And they go, but what happened? Nothing. I woke up, said it's awesome. That's about all you have to do. So you'll notice, though, that in the question I asked you, what's great about your day today, I didn't ask you how's your day, because if I ask you how's your day, that question's open-ended. You can say great or terrible. Well, I don't want to give a 50% shot at getting the wrong answer. So if I ask you what's great about your day, all you can tell me is what's great. And guess what? As soon as you say it, you start to feel better. And I feel better because I don't have to hear somebody's crap about how bad their day is, which they love throwing it on you. It's called drama glue. They're stuck in their story, and I'm stuck listening to it.
Right, so you kind of you create the day you want by the questions you ask.
Well, the quality of our life is determined by the quality of our communication. And the quality of our communication is determined by the quality of questions we ask.
Right.
We analyze everything with questions.
Yes. We're at the William Glasser Institute, we're big on our language, and we often have to kind of train ourselves to talk differently talk differently once we embrace the concepts of choice theory. So we no longer say, I'm depressed. We might say, I'm choosing to depress, so that we recognize that it's a choice. We don't say anymore, you make me so mad, because nobody can make you mad. It's a choice. Again, it's a choice that you make. So that language is really an important key to getting your life aligned with your values and belief systems. I think you say some of the same things.
Well, Kim, let me give you a bonus thing here, and this is going to change your life completely, you personally. And that is that, why is it that we are depressed? Well, we're not. We just gave it a label. Right? How do you know that's depression? Well, because you labeled it that way. But everything that happens in this universe has a positive intention attached to it. It's trying to get us to evolve. It's actually trying to get us what we want. So what happens is that if, maybe depression is nothing more than a triggering system that's saying, hey, go work on yourself. So instead of saying I am depressed, what you say is, well, what's this trying to positively get me to do? Maybe I should go ask for help, or maybe I should read something positive, or maybe I should skip, or maybe I should go work out, or maybe I should whatever, go help somebody else out in need. See, yes. It's a triggering system, and when you take it, I'm depressed, which means now I got to feel this way, instead you say, wait, it's trying to show me something to do. It's trying to get me to change. That's why when you smack your thumb with the hammer, it hurts, because it's trying to say, don't do that anymore. That's all it is. It's a triggering system. It's not punishing you. It's just saying if you keep doing that, you're not going to have a thumb. You'll smash it until it's gone. And so it's a warning system. Well, depression is the same thing. It's just a warning system. Go change what you're doing, because then you'll get the different results. So as you see, it's trying to push you into action. But people get caught up in the message instead of what it's trying to deliver.
I love that. Very proactive way of looking at that. And for people who are trying to improve their state of mental health, that's an excellent gem of wisdom there. Thank you so much. I'd like you to share a little bit about your work as it relates to mental health and happiness. How does your work help people improve that state?
Well, it's funny because I work with companies all over the world. I work with sports teams and athletes. I was just over coaching the top executives at Kuwait Petroleum. I have people who, a guy who just directed his first film in Hollywood. It's with Nicolas Cage and John Cusack called The Frozen Ground. And I get all of them to work on their personal development to start. And they're like, well, I want really the marketing strategies, Kurek. I want to make the money. Wait. Wherever your head goes, your body follows. We got to work on this, because wherever your head is right now has produced the results you have, no matter good or bad, all of them. So we want something different. Well, when we elevate how we participate here, we automatically will do things we never even knew what to do before. So it's not even hard because that's just what you do at that next level. It's just how you are. It's easier. So the whole thing is that, yes, we have to get our mental health right. And that, by the way, that doesn't mean you have to be mentally unhealthy to make yourself more mentally healthy. You know, it's not a black or white situation. It's called evolution. Charles Darwin said it's not the strongest of the species that will survive, nor the most intelligent. It's the ones who are most able to adapt, which means to evolve. The natural order of the universe is for everything in the universe to seek to reach its highest potential, which means to evolve. So mental health, yeah, it's not a I have to be sick to get better. You know, we talked about earlier before the calls. Yeah, I've lost 6 inches on my waist this year. Well, it wasn't that I was fat. I was just big. I was just big, you know, in size. I decided, you know what? I want to change. I want to improve. I want to be better than I am. So I made a decision. 2, I was committed to the decision every day. I'm staying with this. And 3, I invested in myself. INVESTMENT. I invest in me. It's right there in the word. Investment. It's the best investment you can make is in your own personal development. That is mental health because, again, wherever your head goes, your body's going to follow. So having healthy thoughts is the beginning of all of it.
Great. And you know, when you talk about that, I know because people say this to me sometimes, you make it sound so easy, but it's not so easy, people will say. I'd like you to...
That's the thought they have to change.
That's right. And I like to tell people it's a lot easier than what you have been doing. But I'd like you to share, if you will, you didn't always think like this. You've overcome some real adversity in your life. I wonder if you'd share a little bit of that so people can see where you started to where you've come.
Well, look, I've had a very challenging upbringing. My mom was married 4 times. My dad was married 3 times. Stepdad 4 times. You know, my mom and my stepfather were very alcoholics and abusive. Great people, just had their own demons and troubles. By the way, just because you're a parent doesn't make you perfect. So I'm not dropping that on them. It's just that, as a child it was tough. And then my brothers and my sister never really liked me very much. Why? Because I was always known as the weird one. Which, by the way, it's the weird ones that change the world, and it's the normal ones that wait for us to change it. So I welcome that. See, I just have a way that I look at it differently. But I got to tell you, as a kid, it was challenging because I did feel isolated. I felt lonely. In 1989, I was doing a movie with Chuck Norris in the Philippines called Delta Force 2, and I was involved in a helicopter crash where 5 of my friends died, and my best friend Mike was on fire, and I carried him out. He died in my arms and waited in the hospital. He was 29 years old. 2.5 years, I had a .357 Smith & Wesson pistol in my mouth every night, with hammer pulled back, finger on the trigger, counting it down. I pumped cocaine in my nose every night, cigarettes, booze. I was just trying to kill myself. So obviously, and thank God I'm not successful at everything. I've gone through 2 marriages already. Not my plan, but that's what happened. Both of my parents have died of cancer. I mean, I'm like a real guy. The thing, though, is that each one of those things, in its own weird way, has given me exactly what I've been asking for in life, which is to make myself better. And that's what Jim Rohn always said. He said, don't ask for your life to be easier, ask for yourself to be better. And I believe that the rewards are always in proportion to the test, and the Creator would never give me a challenge I couldn't handle. So I'm always looking for where's the opportunity in here, where's the growth, how is this going to do it? Again, that's a training that I developed within myself because life is not fair, Kim. I'm sure you and everybody else on this call has already figured that one out. So why waste our time trying to make it fair when it's not? That's a total waste of time. So life doesn't turn out the way that it should. It turns out the way that it does. Now it comes down to what are you going to do with it? Because it's all just a perception. And so, if I can do this, and that's what I'm trying to explain to everybody, anybody can. It comes from working on those tools, asking for help. You want help from me? Easy. That's Kurek Ashley. Look me up. It's easy to find me. There's only one. But the thing is that people won't ask for help, and nobody does it alone. Nobody succeeds alone. And if you did, what a lonely ride. You build this multi-million-dollar company, and you look behind you with your glass of champagne, and what's the point of that? But, you know, again, as most people want to prove that they can do this on their own. Okay, but that's not a success strategy. And it is easier when you get help. And remember you asked, you know, you said people say to you, well, it can't be that easy. Well, it is. Who told you it has to be hard? I didn't say it's, you know, it is effort, and yes, you got to do things that you don't normally do, but that's going to produce results that will change your life dramatically. And I don't see people complaining about all the crap they're doing that makes their life lousy. They do that every day. You know, oh, I got to read my goals every day. Oh, wow, there's a whole minute and a half of work. So, yeah, you're going to have to retrain yourself to do those little extra things. But like I said, it's not as much as most people think it is.
I know from your book that you do a lot with affirmations. Could you say something about that?
Well, affirmations are nothing more than you putting consistent, empowering, positive thoughts into your head as a habit. Because imagine every morning you wake up and you have an empty bucket inside your chest, right? Now, if you leave the house with that bucket empty, don't be surprised that the universe and people throw their garbage in your empty bucket. Why? It's empty. They just see it and throw the crap at you. But Napoleon Hill said that, you know, the dormant mind is the devil's workshop. So what that means is that if you don't actively put in there what you want in there, well, toxic stuff seeps in, and it will create havoc and chaos to your life. So an affirmation is just a habit of saying consistent, organized thoughts to your mind every day, so you're filling up that bucket. So when you leave the house, it's filled. There's no room for people's garbage. And if some splashes out, well, you still got a lot. But imagine stepping out the door empty, and then you get hit with something. See, here I can deal with things. It's hard when you're empty. And every night it empties out. Yeah, this is a brand new day. It's a brand new life. We've changed overnight. We've evolved. You know, that's why you don't age on your birthday. You know, we're constantly evolving. You know, it's I have a 2.5-year-old. My son is, you know, that kid grows overnight. It's like,
Yeah, they do.
who is this guy? Like, the same guy went to bed with last night. Well, so we got to work on it every day, and it's just by being consistent and putting those thoughts in. You can either write your own affirmations, you can get them out of books. Louise Hay is famous for hers. I mean, you know, she wrote the Heal Your Life. Wayne Dyer, Napoleon Hill. You know, I do one that I got from Think and Grow Rich in 1980. I've been doing it I added to it. I call it the Winner's Creed, but it's something I've been doing every day for over 30 years now. And people, you got to do it every day? Well, unless you want a great life, yes, but ooh, it takes me a whole 30 seconds.
Would you share that with us?
Sure. I know that I have the ability to achieve my definite purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action towards its attainment, and I here and now promise to render such action. I fully realize that no wealth or position will long endure unless built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I will engage in no transaction which would not benefit all whom it affects. I am succeeding by attracting to myself the forces I wish to use and the cooperation of other people. I induce others to serve me because of my willingness to serve others. I eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, cynicism, anger, and fear by developing a true love for all humanity because I know that a negative attitude towards others will never bring me success. I cause others to believe in me because I believe in them and in myself. This is my creed, my quest, to never stop striving for the top, to always keep moving forward, to always be the very best that I can be. I am the power. I am the magic. I cannot be stopped. I am a winner. I promise to always be true to myself because I'm the creator and master of my universe, and I'm responsible for making a positive difference in the world and to the quality of life in it. I live in constant and never-ending improvement.
Wow. I just want to sit with that a minute. Yeah, obviously you've been doing that every day for a while, but that is powerful.
Yeah, and Napoleon Hill in his book said, if you read this every day, it will change your life. Well, most people read over that. I go, wait, he just told me do it every day. Why am I asking the guy for strategies but not going to use them? That doesn't make any sense. But also, is Napoleon Hill did not have it correct. He had some incorrection in it, which is he kept saying, I want to be or I will be. Those are poor thoughts. It has to be I am. The Bible says, as a man thinketh, in his heart of hearts, so is he. So that means how you think about yourself is who you become. So I changed, that's why I added things to it. So if you read Think and Grow Rich, yeah, you'll see the body of it in there, and yet you'll notice there's differences and things added to it because I made it my own. But I give it, I send out thousands of copies to people, and you'll notice I didn't sign it or anything because I want people to make it their own.
Right.
Adopt it to yourself.
Right. That's why I think affirmations are so powerful. And you talked about getting help. I think it's important when people are crafting their own affirmations that they have someone else look at them. I remember for a long time when I started my first business, I started my business back before the recession, when I had credit card companies sending me all these offers for 0% interest credit cards, and so that's how I financed my business and my move to Chicago, and thinking after the year I'd have my credit cards all paid off. And I also took out a line of credit on my house, so I had something else to invest if need be. So at the end of the year, well, my affirmation was always, in 1 year I will have my credit cards all paid off. Well, it sounded good. I thought it was great. At the end of the year, when the interest rates kicked up, I hadn't paid off my credit cards, but I took the line of credit money and paid off my credit cards, so I made my affirmation, but my amount of my debt was the same thing. I was not very careful in how I crafted that affirmation. So I got a little smarter, I got a little wiser, I read a little bit more, but I think we have to be careful about how we craft those affirmations. To say something like, I weigh 130 pounds, that's not enough, because if you say I weigh 130 pounds, you might get sick and end up weighing 130 pounds.
There you go.
It's be very intentional about those affirmations. I weigh 130 pounds and healthy, look and feel terrific.
Yes, be specific.
Right.
So it's just writing my book is, my goal wasn't to write a book. My goal was to write an international bestseller, because what's the point of writing one that nobody's read? That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So
right.
So I asked what I really wanted, not what not just writing a book. So be very specific. But also, is anything that you consistently say to yourself is an affirmation. By the way, even the garbage that people talk to themselves is an affirmation, and it will take hold. So that's why we get people saying, well, I've had the worst luck in the world. Don't say that, because you're giving energy to it. I say kill the monster when it's a baby. Don't let it grow up and bite your head off.
Right.
Take the energy out of it and start saying things that will get you what you want, not that are going to keep you from it. And by the way, one of the worst affirmations I hear people use as a question is the word why. Why did you do that to me? Why is this happening? Why is always a disempowering question. Unless you're talking about your why, your purpose, it's a disempowering question, because whatever answer you get is going to make you feel bad. Jerry Springer. Person comes out, they said, hey, honey, I've been cheating on you. First thing they go, why? Well, what? You're gay. I'm gay. You're ugly. Sex with you is terrible. I like your dog, your dad, your brother. Anyone, I don't know. I was drunk. Any one of those answers makes you feel bad. Don't ask why, and instead of ask a more empowering question is, what's great about this? What can I do with this that's going to make my life better? How is this going to empower me? Look for the solution and the transformation, not the problem, because the more you focus on the problem, the bigger the problem is. But see, that's all affirmations. It's the way what you keep consistently putting into your head either is going to help you have everything or steal it from you. And there is no neutral.
Oh, I like that. There is no neutral.
Well, the law of vibration says that everything's in motion. The law of polarity says everything has to have opposite sides. The law of relativity says that all the laws have to work in relationship with each other. So the law of vibration, the law of polarity says that if you're not moving in one direction, by default, you're moving in the other.
Mm.
So we're either getting happier or more depressed. We're either getting stronger or weaker, healthier or sicker, more in love, less in love, richer or poorer. It's one or the other.
Growing or dying?
Well, growing or decaying.
Ah, okay.
And you'll notice that decay takes on an odor. It stinks. That's the universe being very clear. Don't go that direction. It stinks. Pretty easy. See, it is that easy. Nature works easily. Our moms, by the way, Kim, told us the most powerful lesson the second we were born, and that is called transformation. You know, I watched my son's mom give birth, and I got to tell you, it was uncomfortable. I saw something the size of a cantaloupe come out of a part of her body the size of an eye socket.
Mm.
That's pain. But the moment they made eye contact, she transformed that into unconditional love. She didn't even remember the pain. It's that fast. So right then, our moms taught us to have the experience to go beyond what we have right now. It's called transformation. She taught us that we can take the worst pain and turn it into the most powerful force called love in a millisecond by making a decision.
That's right. As a mom, I can definitely relate to that.
Toughest person on the planet is mom.
That's right. How did you get involved in this transformational work, Kurek? What happened in your life? What led you to this path?
I was born to do it. I was built to do it. That's what I'm sent here for. It was my job before I got here. It's obvious. I'm built for it. I've always been doing it. At school, I've always had little mini seminars in the hallway. You know, I don't know. I mean, it was just, I didn't know how to get paid for it. I really didn't know how to, you know, package it to really what was I doing. And that just came from, you know, more and more learning and things like that. But it's kind of always what I did. And even when I was an actor in Hollywood, my real purpose was to get successful and famous so that people would want to hear me tell them how to change their life and achieve their goals. I figured, you know, when I was famous, that would happen. Well, I played bad guys, usually in the movies, or tough guys. Nobody really wants to hear your story. So I decided to let the movie industry go, and that's when my career went through the roof. With what I do now is because I wasn't distracted. I wasn't being pulled in opposite directions.
Good. So you just knew early on it was really your destiny, your purpose.
Well, you know, it's funny. I went to my high school reunion a few years ago, and people, when they found out I quit the movies, they were a little in shock because that's all I talked about. But they also said, as you know, Kurek, what you do is really what you've always done. It's like a natural for you. You know, you just always kept talking about the movies, but this is actually a better fit for you because it's what you've always done.
Yeah. What about the role of sadness in mental health? Do you think that people need to feel sad sometimes, or that it's okay to feel sad, or that they, you know, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, you know, the difference between successful people and everybody else is that we manage how we think and feel differently than the average people do. We all go through the exact same thing. Everybody's got fear. Everybody's got doubt. Everybody's got insecurity. Everybody feels sadness. Everybody gets their heart broken, all the rest of the stuff. Now, what do you do with it? So I believe that our emotions are like colors on our palette that we're here to paint our life with. But the key is that we're the artists. We're supposed to be choosing the colors, not letting the colors choose us. If you're using all those dark colors all the time, you're just going to get a black picture, a dark picture, right? So as an example, you know, my father, when he passed away, you know, that's my hero, my dad. I'm his only child, you know. I mean, it was my hero. When they closed the casket, my stepmom was too distraught, so, you know, I let her have some time and some space. But I said to my mom, I said, Mom, let's go out in Chicago and have a glass of wine and have some laughs and whatever. She said, hey, Kurek, your dad just passed away. I said, Mom, Dad's going to be dead forever. I have plenty of time to deal with this. But right now, we're still alive. I'm only in Chicago a couple times a year. Why don't we spend it having some fun? And she said, yeah, good point, good point. And yes, I miss my dad. You know, I shed tears over my dad, but that's only because I love him. That's a good sign. You just don't let it consume you. See, there's that teetering point again, you know?
Right.
And then when my mom was dying of cancer 3 years ago, I was in the room when the doctors gave her the final notice that this is terminal. It's not about length of life anymore. It's about quality of life. My mom asked, is it going to hurt? The guy said, no, we can probably manage that with drugs, and since you're not in that much pain now, you know, I think you're doing quite well. So the doctors left, and they said, Mom, okay, we got a choice. How do you want to do this? See, there's the power of the question again.
Right.
You want to be depressed and sad and melancholy and, you know, cry the rest of our days away together? Or would you like to have some fun and pull all the stops out and remember this ride as being awesome? And she said, you know, Kurek, you asked the best questions. I'd like to have some fun. I said, great. You want me to get some male prostitutes, strippers? I'll bring in some weed. I'll bring in booze, scotch, cigarette. You tell me, you name it, I'll bring it in for you. She goes, well, look, your strippers aren't going to do anything for me. You know, I don't smoke cigarettes anymore. That's what got me in this trouble. I quit alcohol 18 years ago at your seminar. How about some pizza? How about a quarter pounder with cheese and bacon? How about some ribs? You know, because you got Chicago, man. You got the best barbecue ribs in the world, you know.
Right.
So guess what? Every day, my mom got whatever she asked for, and that's all, you know, we didn't talk about the disease anymore. We didn't talk about how sad this is. And the last day, my mom ran out of energy. You know, she timed it. She knew exactly. She wanted to end it when she wanted to end it. So she's unconscious, and at the time, my wife and I are holding her hands, and she finally opens her eyes after hours, and she says, "Ah, babies."
Oh.
I said, Mom, are you in the subject again? Okay. You know what, Mom? Look, this experience has actually made me ready, and I promise you I'll have kids. You got to stay around to see them. And she said, don't piss me off. Just have them. And I said, all right, Mom, I promise you. I said, I love you. And she said, I love you. She closed her eyes. That was it. It was game over. She never gained consciousness again. Came home, and 2 days later, we got pregnant. That's my son, Elijah.
Wow.
And on my 50th birthday is when we found out he was coming, you know, officially. And we could smell my mom in the room. You could feel her. She was there, you know. You know, so life is what it is. So, yeah, sadness. I miss my mom. I wish she could meet her son, her grandson. I wish my dad could meet his grandson. It won't happen. But that sadness makes me a better parent because I know that I, too, will be passing away one day. I watched my parents die. You don't think it will happen, but it does. So it makes me more present. It makes me more patient. It makes me more, you know, like when he's here with me, you know, not that we're watching, you know, he's watching TV and I think that's us spending time together. You know, it's all, so it's that sadness or pain of missing my parents that makes me live a better life. See, it's just not what happens, it's what you do with what happens.
So you transform those experiences into a gift, a lesson, an opportunity, something that you can yeah, I love that.
So there is no truth to anything. It's only interpretation. So I told you about that. My brothers and sisters didn't like me very much. Well, that's awesome. Why? It pushed me to go find my life. I had nothing here to stay for. But if they were really nice to me, I would have maybe never gone and discovered who I am to create what I've created. Do you know what I mean? You can use this in any situation you want.
Do you think that that's one of the things that perhaps separates successful people from the masses, their ability to transform events into positive experiences?
Well, not the ability. Everybody has the ability. It's the choice to do it or not. Calvin Coolidge said that the world is full of educated derelicts. Most people know what to do. Most people just aren't doing what they know. It's in the doing that we develop, not the knowing. What's the point of having the education but you don't do it? Everybody's got the ability. Everybody can skip down the street. By the way, Kim, the library is filled with free books, but there's not many people in there reading them. Anything you want to know to change your life is in the library. These days, it's called the internet. But most people would rather get on the Facebook and listen to other people whinging about their life, or, you know, get on YouTube and watch people do stupid stunts and hurt themselves instead of going on there and learning something that's going to make your life better. So we all have the ability. But yes, the key distinction between successful people and everybody else, and this is it. If you get this from this call and nothing else but this in action, your life will change, and that is we manage how we think and feel differently than average people do. That's it. Because wherever your head goes, your body follows. You got to manage it. GFC, global financial crisis. Ooh, it's terrible. I thought it was awesome. Why? It forced me to learn how to do better business. It forced me how to train myself better. It forced me to learn how to learn new and better marketing. You know, because when everything's going great, why would you work on yourself? That doesn't make any sense. Or work on your business. But man, you get challenged. Most people panicked and lost what they had. Me, it made my business stronger.
Right. That makes a lot of sense.
Same environment. We all went through it.
Yep. Successful
people thought differently about it. Unsuccessful people thought differently about it. You want to change groups? Change what you think. And that's my beautiful son. Hey, buddy.
I see him.
Thank you. Go watch TV. I'll be right there, buddy. So there you go. That's my beautiful son.
That was a nice treat. Thank you for that.
He's a showbutter. He's definitely my son. He's already the little actor.
So are there, you talked about Think and Grow Rich a couple of times, Napoleon Hill. Um, did you have mentors that brought you to where you are now? People that helped you along your way?
Well, one of them still to this day is his name is John Herzfeld, Herzfeld. John was Sylvester Stallone's roommate at the University of Miami. Still to this day, they're the very best of friends 50 years later. Hey, buddy, please don't bang on the door. Um, John is a famous movie director. He directed 2 Days in the Valley, which gave Charlize Theron her first role. He gave Sandra Bullock her first line in the movie. John has a movie coming out right now called Reach Me, about a personal development guy who sounds very familiar, wrote a book.
Yes.
Changed people's lives. But John forced me to read Think and Grow Rich in 1980. It was the first book I ever read cover to cover. And he would call me from the studios and go, "What page you on?" If I lied, he knew it. I don't know how this guy knew it, but he would be in my face. He made me look up vocabulary words every day at 6 a.m. going to the gym. I had to write them in a little book that I had to carry in my back pocket called my words book. I had to learn how to spell it using the sentence, and know the definition of it. And he'd call me up and go, "Kurek, peruse, use it in the sentence." "John, I was perusing the map. I found Chicago." "Great, hang up on me, But he made me understand that this would change my life. It would give me all my goals and dreams if I worked on myself. And he said, vocabulary, if you can communicate, you have power, because then you can get your message across and you get people to act, including help you. So, he really did. He was, I wound up doing like 10 movies with John. I'm the inspiration for his movie that's coming out now. It doesn't really look like me anymore, but the original inspiration to the movie. I helped him out with what the character would be like and say, and kind of the technical advisor on it. But I spent 5 years on the road with Anthony Robbins. I taught at his seminars. I read nonstop. I've spent quality time with Deepak Chopra, Wayne Dyer, and I learned from everybody, because everybody is great at something in life. And so I'm always, what are they great at, and how do they get great at it? What do they do? See, because then if they can do it, I can do it. I have a picture on my wall. I'll show you guys. This man, let's see, can you see it?
Yeah.
He's 79 years old.
Wow.
Okay? I read this article years ago. I said, if that guy can do it, I can do it. 79 years old, he's got the body of a 20-year-old. Well, I have another picture of Stallone on my wall where he's 64 and he's rocked. And right over his shoulder, now I've known Sly since the early 80s. We've been great friends. On my wall, I have a Rocky poster when my book went bestseller. He sent it to me. It took me 25 years to finally get a poster out of him. But over his shoulder in the picture on the wall is the same gentleman that I just showed you, because Sly uses an inspiration saying, and see, now that's why Sly and I get along with each other, because, we seek mentors and examples in front of us that can show us. I'll tell you a funny story real fast, and that is whenever I travel, I like to walk, and I do a lot of hotels, I'm on a lot of planes, and I get out and walk. I'm on the Gold Coast here in Australia. I meet this older woman in the neighborhood. I said, "Ma'am, you're in great shape." She stands over, bends over, puts her palms on the ground, stands back up. She goes, "I'm not as limber as I used to be." We started talking. I said, "Ma'am, you look great. What are you, like 65, 66? She goes, "I'm 94.
Wow.
I said, "What?" She goes, "I'm 94, Kurek." I said, "Ma'am, you got to tell me your secret. How do you do it?" And you go to her place. She runs up the stairs to show me antiques. Runs. Nothing talks of real. Runs. She said, "Kurek, everybody's fascinated with what I've done and do, but nobody asks me why or how." Like, "Ma'am, I'm a success coach. I'm always looking for the strategy." She said, "Well, first, if you can't control it, don't participate in it." I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Well, if you can't control your anger, don't get angry. If you can't control your alcohol, don't touch it." She said, "If you can't, don't." She says, "Every night I give myself 2 nips of scotch as a reward, I watch TV." And I said, "Okay." And she said, "And every day I walk to grab my groceries." Now, since I can't carry a lot, I walk every day, and I eat only fresh food, because I can't carry a lot. So that night, I run to the bottle shop, the liquor store, and I buy an 18-year-old bottle of scotch, and I knock on her door, and she opens the door. I said, "Ma'am, I don't know if you remember me." She said, "Kurek, I'm 94. I'm not senile. I met you this afternoon." I said, "Ma'am, just because I'm knocking at night, that's all." I said, "Look, I brought you a bottle of scotch. You know, because I want, he gave me so much today, because if you can do it, ma'am, I can do it. You just taught me how, right? And so she said, wow, 18-year-old Scott's the good stuff. I said, ma'am, can I give you a gift now? She said, yeah, what's that? And I said, well, at 94, don't you think it should be the good stuff every night? She said, good point, Kurek. Well, a couple of years later, my wife and I, well, not my ex-wife, but we're going to stay in a hotel, same hotel, and I looked down and I go, wow, that's a woman's room. We got to go to her house. We got to see her. Knock on the door, but now I have my bottle of scotch already ready. And she said, hey, Kurek, it's been a couple of years.
Wow.
And she goes, oh my God, your eyes, they're piercing blue, just like he talks about. And here she's like in her late 90s now, and she's still running around, and she said, hey, Kurek, this time, can we have a scotch together? I said, ma'am, it would be an honor. It would be an honor.
So you can find mentors anywhere you look. You just have to have the mind of a learner and the desire to see them.
Well, there it goes. Wherever your head goes, your body follows again. You look for mentors, you'll find them. You look for gifts in everybody, you'll see them. Wayne Dyer says, when you change the way that you look at the world you look at will change.
I like that. You've been doing this throughout the entire interview, but I wonder if you have any tips and strategies additional that you'd like to share with our viewers?
Well, yeah, the first thing would be is, get up every day and exercise your 4 main muscle groups every day: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, right? And by the way, you can do all these at one time, so it's not a big workload. But otherwise, if you're saying, I don't have time for this, that's like saying, well, I'm so busy flying my plane, I didn't have any time to put fuel in it. Well, you crash. Well, your life crashes if you don't put fuel in yourself. So the fuel is physical. What's the exercise for it? Hit the gym, sports, run, swim, dance, walk, something, move. Motion creates emotion. So get out there and feel good by moving your body in a way that makes you feel good. And that means eating regime and water intake, because garbage in, garbage out. You put junk food in, you got to remember, is everything you eat is a chemical. Certain chemicals will make your brain feel good, like, put serotonin across it, endorphins, things like that. Other stuff makes you feel bad. Junk food, there's a reason they call it junk food, right? You want to put junk fuel in your Ferrari because now you have a lawn ornament. It doesn't run. So do that. Mental, it's a muscle. Work it. Read books. Listen to audio programs. Go to seminars. All that stuff. Some of the best are biographies and autobiographies, because you see how these successful people think like them, you get the same result. Bang, there you go. Emotional, it's a muscle. Hang out with positive, happy people. Also do what's called reframing. Look at the other side of the coin. Everything has opposite sides, the law of polarity. So look at the side that makes you feel better by asking, what's great about this? Or how can I look at this in an empowering way? Last is spirituality, which is not religion. Spirituality is about self-love. The Bible says if you do not know love, you do not know God, because God is love. That just means love is the most powerful force in the universe. That's what I told you about Mom. It goes from unconditional, unbelievable pain to unconditional love. That's the power of love. It's that powerful. The woman in Yosemite, her son got grabbed by a grizzly bear 2 years ago. She punched him in the head. Grizzly bear ran. Don't mess with Mom. The thing is that you can shoot a grizzly bear with a .357 Magnum in the head at point-blank range. The round will bounce off his skull, and now he's pissed off. He'll eat you. The punch of a mom. Man, drop the kid and run. That's the power of love. Well, if we want to connect to our Creator, love, that's through self-love. Every issue we have on this planet is a self-love issue. If you really love yourself, you won't allow yourself to stay depressed. You won't allow yourself to smoke cigarettes, shoot up drugs, rip somebody else off. Love doesn't act that way. That's why my book is called How Would Love Respond? Use it as your identity. I am love, and I'm going to love myself first. And people say it's egotistical to love yourself. I'm going to tell you it's egotistical not to. E-G-O, edging God out. When you try to separate yourself from the universe, you're giving all the power away. Yeah, you're a victim now. Well, tap into it. And so the first thing you got to do is be kind to yourself. Instead of criticizing yourself for what you think you're not doing right, acknowledge yourself for everything you're doing approximately right. Let the criticism go. You don't need it. You'll expand on what feels good. Also, look in the mirror every day and spend 30 seconds convincing that person you're staring at that you love them. Not saying it to them, convince them. You do that every day, you're going to buzz, you're going to glow, you're going to be filled up with self-love. And by the way, you can go to the gym, have headphones on, be exercising, listening to personal development, doing something nice for yourself. You've covered all 4 muscle groups in one hit.
Great advice. I like that. How can people get in touch with you, Kurek, or learn more about your work? Where could I send them?
You know what? Because I'm not here to sell anything, as you notice. Look, I could sell people stuff, but that's not what I'm here for. Go to KurekAshley.com, KurekAshley.com. There's lots of videos on the site. You can sign up for training videos from me. They're all free. You get ebooks. You get invited to teleseminars. You find out about workshops I'm doing. We don't spam anybody. It's, there's no hard selling going on, because my whole job is to empower people. And I also believe in the law of circulation. So all the value I add, it always comes back. My life is proof of that. It doesn't have to be from the person I gave it to. It automatically comes back. It's a ripple effect. So, go put in your details. You can always email me, Kurek@KurekAshley.com. It really is my email address. I really do answer it. As long as people write, I will write back.
Great. I found that out myself. I'm so honored that you accepted our invitation to be on this summit. You, whether you know it or not, have been one of my mentors with what you wrote in your book. I want to thank you for that. And I wonder if there's any, like, one last point you'd like to make, one takeaway you'd like people to leave this seminar with.
I would, and that is, it's our birthright to be happy. It's our birthright to be successful. But it's also more than that. It's our obligation. I mean, who are you helping on this planet? How are you making this planet a better place by you being angry, depressed, sad, broke, fat, lonely? You're not. And if we're not part of the solution, then we're part of the problem, right? So neutral is part of the problem, So it's also our obligation to make the best out of ourselves, and it's the natural order of the universe for everything in the universe to seek to reach its highest potential. No, not to be perfect, to evolve. The last perfect one that was supposed to be here, Jesus Christ, they strung him up on a cross. I don't know if that's a great job. I'm not knocking, it's just that looked very painful. I don't know if he'd recommend that to people either. But he wasn't trying to say be perfect. He was saying keep working on yourself. He said even least among you can do all that I have done and even greater things. So he's saying we all got that power. You have to activate it. You put it in your soul that not only am I doing this for myself, but there's a greater good for this. And just by improving yourself a little bit, other people will see that and go, how'd you do it? See, now they want to know the way. You can show them, but you can't show them the way if you're a person who's not there yourself. That doesn't make any sense, right? So, and then the CDI, consistent improvement. If you do this 1% improvement a day, at the end of the year, you won't even recognize yourself. You'll be at least 365% improved.
That is great. Kurek, thank you so much. I just want to let our viewers, thank you. I just want to let our viewers know our next person is pre-recorded. We have an interview with Rick Hansen. You should have an email with the link on how to get to his talk. So look forward to seeing you back again in an hour when I'll be interviewing Anastasia from Malaysia. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you soon. Thank you, Kurek. Appreciate you.
My pleasure. And if you give me a copy, if you can send me a link, I'll promote it to everybody on Facebook and my database and the rest of those things. I have like 17,000 people on Facebook. So, on LinkedIn I have, I think, 5,000, plus my database is big. So what we'll do is we'll send it out. I just did one for the Conscious Wealth Summit, sent it out. A lot of people are now listening to it. Next week, now that I'm home, I'll send it out to my database, and so we'll give one more opportunity to view it.
All right. Thank you so much. Take care. Enjoy that boy.
Oh, I always.
I know. All right. Good night.